It's exciting stuff right here.
Here we go, 60 frames, guys.
Yeah, this is a speed run. Okay, it's actually. Oh, look at this.
Now
this
is
our
one level
guest.
of Counter-Strike. There we go. Well, this is exciting. As mentioned, Gooseman, co-creator of Counter-Strike. Thanks for coming onto the program. What would you like us to call you first? Gooseman, Min? What do you usually go by?
You can call me Min.
Sure. Well, one of the reasons we wanted to bring you on here, GameSpot just did a feature, 15 years Counter-Strike, what was it, Dust to Dust? I think we've got the article linked in the chat. We wanted to bring you on here to get you a little insight, too. When you first, you were working on the game, the mod for Half-Life for Counter-Strike, did you think, in all rational thought, that 15 years later it would still be what it is today, one of the most popular games on Twitch, second most popular game on Steam?
No, not at all. I mean, I was kind of surprised it was lasted longer than, like, I mean, after like the 7-year mark, I was kind of like, okay, this is gonna go, it's gonna die out pretty soon. But then Valve just released CS:GO, and it just kind of kept it going. So
yeah,
I mean, it's a franchise now, so it's kind of like Call of Duty or NHL or any of those games. As long as Valve just keeps updating it with new products, new titles, and new improvements, I'm pretty sure it'll stick around for a long time. So
yeah, I think I saw earlier today, almost 31,000 people were playing the game concurrently, and that's amazing for a 15-year-old game.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, which one? Like because there's like 3 versions. There's like 1.6.
I think it was Go,
like
right?
Yeah.
I think it was Global Offensive. Let me put up the one.
Oh
of the,
yeah.
Let me put up one of the quotes from your GameSpot article, and I want to get your insight on this because we're on Twitch. It's obviously one of the bigger eSport games out there. But you're basically saying there will always be a place for Counter-Strike. Here's the actual quote, right? It said, it's something for the eSport scene. That's why it's distinctly different to COD and BF4. There'll always be a place because they appreciate the skill-based gameplay.
Yeah.
Expand on that a little bit, because I had an interesting reaction to this. But what's the takeaway? What do you think CS still brings that COD and Battlefield isn't?
Yeah, well, what that quote is like. There's so much stuff that she didn't really include. So I mean, yeah, it's kind of misleading. What I meant to say was, Call of Duty, it kind of is not as esports friendly as Counter-Strike because it has a lot of these extra features to the game, kind of like the kill streaks and like the artillery and that kind of. And I think those kind of elements take away from the skill factor, where you have players that aren't really that good at shooting. They can affect the gameplay with the kill streaks and other things that I find that are a bit cheap, kind of like the perks. Like there's like this one perk where you drop a grenade and like you kill people when you die, and those kind of things I think aren't really skill based, and I don't think they're really good for esports. So I think Call of Duty is more for casual players who don't really take it too serious, I would think. And in terms of Battlefield, I think Battlefield is not too esports friendly because it's such a large
it's chaos.
environment. It's chaotic, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's really hard to get your team on the same page, and so having a game like that in the esports is so difficult because I mean, if you look at esports, it's really just meant for like 5-player teams and like smaller teams. So that's why I think Battlefield doesn't fit with esports. But when you look at a game like Counter-Strike, it's very simple, and it's it really just focuses on the gunplay and the teamwork with a small amount of players.
Let me get your take though, because a lot of first-person shooters, Destiny's coming out in 2 months or so. In Battlefield, of course, favoring this big open world. They're all trying to get bigger, and they're all, Destiny in particular, is trying to implement the MMO elements, trying to customize characters and all that custom. It seems to be going further away from the idea, like you're saying, of Counter-Strike, of just shoot the other guy and work with 4 or 5 or maybe 6 other people as a team, and just as a first-person shooter, shoot the other team. And it seems like they're trying to go open world and sandbox in a way. And I mean, what's your take on that, your reaction to it? It seems like the first-person shooter is trying to broaden itself to a point. Do you believe that's better or for worse, or is that an accurate assumption or perspective?
Well, I think they're really catering to a market that really enjoys that kind of open world aspect to it. And I think console gamers in general, they're more open to that kind of gameplay. They're not. I don't think they're very esports driven. Like people who play the Xbox, I don't think it's a very esports driven scene. I think esports is mostly predominantly done on the PC.
Right.
So when you talk about a game like Destiny, I think it's really catered towards console gamers. So having that open world aspect of it, they're not really worried about, hey, is this game going to be esports friendly? They don't give a crap. I think they just give a crap about what these casual gamers want. And I think what they want is something more open world, something more. I guess it has more longevity.
Well,
because open world games have more longevity compared to like
to
CS.
go off what you're saying too, it's I play a lot of PlanetSide too, and I'm not very good at first-person shooters. I'll admit that. That's a known fact. That's my status on my Facebook all the time. I suck at first-person shooters, and I find that I enjoy larger games like that because I can kind of hide my lack of first-person skill in large numbers. People don't notice I'm dying all the time, but when I join a game on Counter-Strike, I usually get kicked because I'm just horrible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I feel that there's a lot of people in my space that like first-person shooters, but aren't quite that good yet.
Yeah, exactly. That's a really good point because I have a lot of friends that are exactly in the same position as you. They're not really Twitch FPS shooters, and they don't really spend like hours and hours focusing their reflexes on like FPS games.
No,
so they play a lot of PlanetSide, and they're like, yeah, they can. Because they feel like they take part in the game and they're affecting the outcome.
Yeah, I love the game. It's some of the best game experiences I've ever had playing it. But man, I'm not a good first-person shooter, and I feel that that's probably why some of these larger games are becoming more popular.
What are you working on personally now? I mean, you have Tactical Intervention. It's a free-to-play game, similar in some aspects to Counter-Strike. But I mean, what's next for you in the horizon?
I'm actually working on a game called Rust.
Oh, okay.
I'm working with Gary's Newman. He's over in the UK, and so he has a team right now set up, and we're all working on Rust, and it's a really talented team that we have set up. So I mean, you probably heard of Rust.
Yeah, Rust.
Oh, yeah.
What do you take away from that experience so far?
I really enjoy it because working with Gary, he's assembled a really talented team, and there's like I guess like 12 of us, and so it's really awesome working on a project that has so much talent surrounded in it. With TI, we had a hard time forming a substantial team, and I think because of that, the game just we weren't able to meet the standards that we really wanted to do with that game. So yeah, I kind of moved on from TI, and I'm working on Rust full time now. So yeah.
All right. Well, we'll throw his graphic up.
Yeah, we'll put the graphic
quick
up because that's a thing. We'll put you get your Twitter on there. Are you pretty active on Twitter? If people want to get a hold of you, follow along, is that a place to go to?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm usually pretty responsive, so I don't really have that many followers at the moment. So it's pretty easy to get back to people.
Well, with that photo, we're going to try what we can.
Yeah,
we're going to let the photo go viral.
That's an airsoft rifle you're holding?
Actually, no. I think I was in India.
AK, right? No.
Yeah, okay. I was in India at the time. I was doing a conference, and there was like this military show, and I just went there, and they kind of showed me the guns that they used.
Sure.
And I was holding a AK there, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Being in India.
You get a lot of miles out of that photo. Well, there you go.
There you go, man. Cool.
Man, thanks so much for joining along today, and keep us updated on everything going along with Rust. We'd love to touch base with you in the future and get some updates on that.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. You know, I mean, I'm on Twitter, and maybe I'll drop you guys a line if something comes up with Rust, or if I have something because this is pretty fun. I mean, once I got the hang of it, I'd like to come back and chat with you guys.
Before you go, can we just try this real quick?
Oh, what are we doing?
This is something that we should do more often. Does anyone in Skype have a question?
Yeah, Rust. What do you do? Like, what's your position for that game?
Okay. For Rust, I'm an animator. So I do the 3D animations for the characters and for the weapons. And also for their animals, because they got a lot of animals like bears and dogs, that kind of shit. So I'm helping out with that. And I also do some 3D modeling for them as well. So if they need some help with some 3D models, I'll make a bear for them. Yeah, so that's pretty much my position for them. I just do artwork for them. Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
That was a
there
Skype.
All right, so that was a Skype interview. All right, so
unique
we
to Game Talk Live.
All right, man. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll keep in touch.
Okay. So. Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Have fun.
That's awesome.